My mother was the Queen for a very long time. And although you kind of know that this might happen, you don't really think about it very much.
Princess Anne recently revealed the touching and surprising truth about Queen Elizabeth II's final moments. Known as the most hardworking and dependable member of the royal family, Anne earned the Queen's deep trust over the years. Unlike her siblings, she steered clear of controversy and continuously proved her reliability. Perhaps it was this trust that led Queen Elizabeth to share a final wish with Anne, one that could potentially change everything. This revelation has reportedly left Queen Camilla stunned. The late monarch, who passed away on September 8, 2022, at Balmoral Castle, remained focused on her people until the very end, putting duty before her own suffering. Princess Anne, her only daughter, shared touching details about her mother's unwavering sense of responsibility which defined the way she approached even her passing. At the age of 96, Queen Elizabeth had become a constant presence in the lives of many generations. She spent her final hours at Balmoral Castle, hours that were not only peaceful but also surprisingly productive. According to Anne, even on her deathbed, the Queen was still working. A footman had brought her the traditional red box of state papers, and she attended to them as usual. The Queen had been at Balmoral for several weeks, as part of her annual late summer stay. Anne later revealed that her mother was concerned about the complications her death at Balmoral might cause, even though it's believed she was aware she might pass away there. Just 2 days before her death, on September 6, Queen Elizabeth met with then Prime Minister Liz Truss, showing no signs of slowing down. On the following morning, September 7, her health began to deteriorate. Princess Anne, who happened to be in Scotland for official engagements, was staying nearby. She described it as pure fate that she was present during her mother's final hours. Anne had been on the west coast for 2 days and was planning to head south, but destiny ensured she remained close. Both Anne and then Prince Charles visited the Queen throughout the day as she lay in bed, with growing concern from those around her. As the morning of September 8 dawned, Queen Elizabeth II remained bedridden and began slipping in and out of consciousness, placing the entire Balmoral Castle on high alert. After separate visits at her bedside by Charles and Anne, the beloved monarch peacefully passed away in her sleep by mid-afternoon. Princess Anne's recent revelation has provided new insight into the kind of monarch Queen Elizabeth II truly was, one who deeply cared for her people, worked tirelessly for them, and believed in careful, meticulous planning, even going so far as to begin making arrangements for her own funeral. However, both Anne and King Charles believed that no one should bear such a burden and ultimately intervened to stop her from doing so. This family intervention, as revealed by Princess Anne, involved several heartfelt conversations in the days leading up to the Queen's passing. The late Queen had expressed concern that her funeral would be difficult to organize if she passed away at Balmoral. Despite her intentions, her family persuaded her to step back from making such decisions and encouraged her to do what felt right instead. In the documentary Charles III, The Coronation Year, Princess Anne disclosed that she and her siblings had tried to convince their mother that she should not involve herself in the planning of her own farewell. Anne also made a rare and striking statement about Queen Consort Camilla, which reportedly came as a surprise to many, including Camilla herself. She mentioned that she had known Camilla for a long time and praised her for understanding her role and offering unwavering support to the king, calling her support absolutely outstanding. Though Camilla may not have been a natural fit for royal life, Anne acknowledged that she was doing a wonderful job. The Princess Royal also reflected on a poignant moment during the funeral, watching the imperial state crown being removed from the Queen's coffin for the final time at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. She admitted that she strangely felt a sense of relief in that moment, relief that the long chapter had come to an end, that the responsibility had been passed on. For Anne, who shared a particularly close relationship with her mother, the experience must have been especially emotional. This bond was something that set her apart from her siblings and made her connection with the late monarch unique. Princess Anne made history when she took part in the Vigil of Princes following the passing of her mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The Princess Royal participated in a second 15-minute vigil at Westminster Hall, where Elizabeth's children, led by King Charles III, stood solemnly around the coffin of Britain's longest-reigning monarch. As the Queen's only daughter, Anne also accompanied the hearse from Scotland to Buckingham Palace, describing the journey as an honour and a privilege. Princess Anne Elizabeth Alice, the second child and only daughter of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, was born at Clarence House on August 15, 1950. Both she and her elder brother, King Charles, were young children when their mother ascended the throne on February 6, 1952. Due to her royal duties, Queen Elizabeth II was often away during their early years, and did not see much of her mother as a child. In 1953, when Anne was just 3 years old, the Queen embarked on an extensive 6-month tour of the Commonwealth, visiting 13 nations, including Australia, Jamaica, and Uganda. Despite this distance in early childhood, Anne shared a striking physical resemblance to her mother, which was widely noticed, most notably during a state visit to Austria, when the two were photographed side by side at the Hotel Imperial in Vienna on May 7, 1969. Princess Anne also shared her mother's love for dogs and was often seen as a child with the Queen's beloved corgis during the 1950s and 1960s. As she grew older, Anne began to accompany her mother on royal tours. In 1970, she travelled to New Zealand and Australia with Queen Elizabeth for a 2-month visit. Beyond their resemblance and shared love of dogs, Princess Anne and the late Queen bonded over common leisure interests such as horses and the outdoors. On September 5, 1971, after Anne won the 3-day horse trials in Burghley, Queen Elizabeth proudly presented the trophy to her daughter. It comes as no surprise that Princess Anne, known for her adventurous spirit and passion for the outdoors, became the first member of the British royal family to compete in the Olympics. At the 1976 Montreal Olympic Games, she rode the Queen's horse, Goodwill, in the equestrian 3-day event. Later, she married her first husband, Mark Phillips, who was also an Olympic equestrian. In 1973, Princess Anne's beaming mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was photographed alongside Anne and her husband Mark Phillips in the official royal portrait. Anne was the first of the Queen's children to start her own family, a milestone that brought immense joy to the Queen, who was delighted to become a grandmother. At the christening of Anne and Mark's son, Peter, Queen Elizabeth was captured smiling fondly at her grandson while he lay in Anne's lap. In 1987, shortly before Princess Anne turned 37, she was granted the prestigious title of Princess Royal by her mother. The title, typically reserved for the monarch's eldest daughter, is the highest honorary title for a female member of the royal family, and it was only fitting that Queen Elizabeth bestowed it upon Anne. The bond between mother and daughter was a strong one, and Princess Anne always defended her mother publicly. She came out in strong support of the Queen in response to public perceptions that Elizabeth was an uncaring mother. In an interview with the BBC more than 2 decades ago, the outspoken Princess Royal firmly stated that Her Majesty loved her children and cared for them just like any other mother would. She rejected the claims against her mother, calling them baseless and stating that such rumors simply beggar belief. She noted that as the Queen's children, they likely weren't overly demanding, having understood the responsibilities and limitations placed on their mother by her role as monarch. Nonetheless, Anne insisted that none of the Queen's children ever doubted her love and care. Often referred to as the most hard-working royal, Princess Anne, now 74, continues to remain deeply committed to her royal duties, firmly rejecting the idea of retirement despite the numerous challenges facing the royal family. According to Fox News, the Princess Royal completed an astounding 457 official engagements in 2024, outpacing other senior royals such as King Charles and Prince William. Even after suffering a dangerous concussion in June 2024 that briefly sidelined her, Anne quickly recovered and resumed her responsibilities. Her belief that retirement is not an option mirrors the tireless work ethic of her late parents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Her dedication has drawn praise from many respected royal experts, who recognize her critical role in supporting the monarchy during times of crisis. With both King Charles and Kate Middleton undergoing cancer treatments, Princess Anne has been instrumental in maintaining the public face of the monarchy. She is also reportedly mentoring her niece, Princess Charlotte, preparing her for the significant responsibilities that await her in the future, an important task perfectly suited for the royal family's most dedicated member. Unlike younger royals who focus on fewer long-term initiatives, Princess Anne's no-nonsense approach and unwavering commitment to service have earned her widespread respect, making her an indispensable figure within both the royal family and the public eye. During the coronavirus pandemic, Anne continued working diligently, becoming the unsung heroine of the royal family. While others adopted precautionary measures, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip retreated to Windsor Castle and cancelled several public appearances, and the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall postponed their overseas tours. Princess Anne, who was 69 at the time, remained active in her royal duties. According to the royal diary, she had a number of scheduled engagements and showed no signs of slowing down. She visited the Addington Equestrian Centre near Buckingham in her role as Vice Patron of the British Horse Society, BHS, demonstrating once again her unwavering dedication to royal service. During her visit, Princess Anne met with the BHS education team and equine coaches and watched a demonstration. Anne has dedicated her life to public service, following in the footsteps of her parents, who also enjoyed a long and fulfilling life together as a happily married couple, and hoped to follow the same path as her mother and father. But how well did that work out for her? The beginning of the end. While the royal family is known for jewels, castles, and extravagant weddings, they are equally known for drama, no matter how much they try to avoid it. From controversial abdications to rumored affairs and even 3 royal divorces in a single year, the institution has faced its share of emotional turmoil. One of those divorces was Princess Anne's separation from her first husband, Captain Mark Phillips, in 1992, a year Queen Elizabeth herself referred to as annus horribilis, Latin for horrible year. While Anne's divorce didn't attract the same attention as King Charles's split from Diana, it was riddled with drama, infidelity, and conflict. The royal family has a complicated history when it comes to romantic relationships, often influenced by expectations of duty over personal preference, like the case of Charles and Diana, who had met only a dozen times before marrying. Princess Anne, too, faced heavy familial influence. Before Mark Phillips, she had feelings for Olympic equestrian Richard Meade, whom she met at age 20. Though smitten, the couple broke up less than 2 years later due to Prince Philip's disapproval, primarily due to the 12-year age gap. Despite such pressures, Anne continued to meet suitors. Anne was eventually introduced to Captain Mark Phillips, a fellow horse-riding enthusiast, at a horse event in Mexico City in 1968. Mark, born in Gloucester in 1948, came from a military family and attended the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. By the time he started dating Anne, he had risen to the rank of captain and was also an Olympic gold medalist, having won with the British equestrian team at the 1972 Games. He seemed like the ideal match for the young princess. Although their love story didn't blossom instantly, and even had a brief relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles, the two eventually announced their engagement in May 1973. Their wedding took place on November 14, 1973, in a ceremony watched by millions around the globe. Anne, the first of Queen Elizabeth's children to marry, wore a high-collared gown with bell sleeves and a 7-foot train, along with the Queen Mary fringe tiara, the same one worn by her mother on her wedding day. There were high hopes for their union, but the marriage slowly began to deteriorate. After 15 years together, it was apparent that neither Anne nor Mark was happy. The distance between them became more visible as the relationship devolved into what was described as a loveless union, merely drifting along. Then came the scandal. Mark had fathered a child, Felicity, with another woman, Heather Tonkin, an art teacher from New Zealand, while still married to Anne. Though the DNA confirmation came in 1991, Mark had already been financially supporting the child, paying Tonkin around $8,300 annually by disguising the payment as consulting fees for equestrian matters. With the marriage further rocked by this scandal, Anne and Mark announced their separation in 1989. Initially, they had no plans to officially divorce, preferring to live apart. However, it came as no surprise when they formally ended their marriage in 1992, becoming another failed royal pairing. As for Anne's relationship with her late mother, Queen Elizabeth, many would argue it was one of the closest among her siblings. Do you think Princess Anne deserves the title of the most hardworking royal? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And click on the next video showing on your screen, you won't want to miss it.